because
Yeah,
it's
let's do it.
5.
Yeah, I've hit it as well.
What the fuck?
Well, good, good, good. That's good.
Did you did you get that?
I'm live. I'm
Oh,
live. I'm
you
live. So
know,
welcome everybody to another amazing simulcast episode of Fast Charging with B&B. I'm Brian.
and I'm starting the intro over because now I'm live. Hey everyone, welcome back to Fast Charging with B&B. I'm Bear, and that
I
guy,
I'm still Brian.
he's still Brian. He started his live stream always. His computer's always faster than mine, so he always gets out there before me. And this is a wonderful day. Couple days after Christmas, tons of news out there. I mean, we might have
So
to
much.
extend. We might have to
Yeah.
extend this episode because there was so much going on.
So much news. Nobody in journalism spent any time with their families. No, sir. We've got literally twos of stories.
Twos, twos.
It's been a quiet news week, but there is some. So why don't we chat about that? You know what I would like to say about Christmas is today we went ahead and went around to check out all the clearance deals on Christmas stuff.
Always a
So
good
we,
idea.
yeah, so we got some 70% off goods and whatnot. Picked up another inflatable for next year, a big old 11-foot Santa for $50.
Okay, I was wondering when you said inflatable, like, what was it gonna be?
Yeah, those big old yard ones. You know, they have 30, 40-foot Santas you can get now that are like $3,000.
Wow, I've seen the skeletons that are, those have to be at least like 10 feet tall.
Oh, we've got a 12-foot giant skeleton mummy that we had up for Halloween, and then of course once Halloween comes, you gotta go back up and give him a turkey to hold on to, and then after Thanksgiving passed, we gave him a bag with Santa's legs poking out of it because
Nice,
you
nice.
gotta get the mileage, man.
Oh yeah, yeah. I used to decorate my house all tons of lights, thousands of lights, and get the blow up and the animated stuff. And then one year somebody like started stealing stuff, and it just like deflated me. And I haven't put up lights since then. They killed Christmas for me because they stole the Grinch.
Yeah, yeah, I know how that goes.
So
So yeah,
Grinchy, who's Grinchy?
yeah.
Who?
Well, depends. Vinfast, the range is below what was advertised. What?
Well,
What?
that's common. So I mean that always happens. How bad was it?
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and say the 260 miles they advertised was perfect. It's what they needed, and I'm glad that they definitely achieved it. Oh, oh, you know what? It says here 179.
Bicycle has better range than that.
Well, remember, Bear, you don't go 0 to 100% on your battery. You go 20 to 80. So what would you think that the actual usable range, even if we go 10 to 90, which is stressing the battery a little bit, just take 20% off of that? Take take
34.
36 miles off.
Wow. So
Wow.
I could almost throw a rock that far.
That's Nissan Leaf territory.
That really is. That's very embarrassing. Now they do say that they're planning on some sort of software update to make that a little bit more accurate, but I have a feeling they're still going to fall short. And for the price, there are comparable models of everything that's going to get you twice as much range.
I
So
think that they had too much confidence in their WLTP or whatever test cycle they were using, and that they just didn't realize that the EPA. And the thing is, if 179 is your EPA rating, are you even going to get that?
nope, nope, you're
No.
not even going to get that. So do you think maybe in Vietnam the air is thinner? Le-
Well, no, no,
No, okay.
no.
I would imagine it's actually kind of thicker, wouldn't it be?
Right.
It's kind of a jungle,
It's
humid.
yeah. I don't know how that works, but yeah. I did want to say a quick bunch of welcomes to Digital Blade Canada and David. And who is this? Of course, I love you, buddy. You know it. Tech Fixers in the chat. Good to see you. And Kevin King. The competition is coming. LOL. Well, I mean, the competition is coming, and that is a good thing, but this ain't it.
Yeah, this ain't
This
it.
ain't it. But you know what? If there was a. Considering this is dead on arrival, there's got to be something worse.
There could be, and it is a Model 3 hearse.
You know what? They actually did a ridiculously tasteful job of it.
I don't think it's that bad.
No.
I just
No.
wonder how long of a coffin can you get in there?
Uh,
Like, will a standard coffin fit? Because it's just
it
not.
does look, yes, it looks like they extended the wheelbase.
I
Look at
agree.
that.
I agree
Yeah,
with
that's-
that. They definitely did extend the wheelbase.
Yeah.
There's no way the rear tires are that far in a normal Model 3.
Right.
But considering the range of the Vinfast, maybe they should have used the Vinfast because most hearses are short range, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
now this is nice. You can go out without polluting.
Yeah. Well, because if you really wanted to pollute, wouldn't you be cremated anyhow?
Well, when your body decays, don't you pollute? Doesn't all sorts of gases and nasty stuff
That
come out?
that's why they pump you full of Wonder Bread or whatever kind of preservatives they're using these days.
Underbred.
I don't know. I'm not a scientist. Okay.
Apparently.
Apparently. That
Yeah.
much was not disputed, Brian.
Okay. Well, you know what you don't need to be.
But
You don't
first
need
I
to
did
be.
want to say I like the star lights in it.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
What living creature is going to see that?
Paul Bearer. What were you saying? Some cool vehicles?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh God, yeah. So let's just go to no segue. Cool vehicles. This is from Business Insider that thinks that these are going to be the eight coolest electric cars hitting the streets next year.
Well, I
And
gotta say already, that lead image of what I can only assume is a Nissan Altima from the mid 90s
Oh,
is
God.
already off to a strong start.
that is an Ionic 6, and some people just love that design. They think it's very spaceshipy. Um, I'm not a fan. I don't hate it either. It's supposed to get really good coefficient. The drag coefficient is supposed to be phenomenal. But it also has the layout of the Ionic 5 inside, which means it sucks balls because I don't like the Ionic 5 on the inside. It's a cluster of different things that don't go well together. But let's move on. Let's take a look at these. The
Yeah.
Silverado, the 2023 Silverado, I think is a very nice looking truck, and it's going to have a lot of features. It's going to be super expensive, but it's going to run right over the F-150 with its horrible range.
And it looks nice.
Yeah.
Of the trucks, I think it's the best looking one.
By the way, like the Hummer that is only available in white, the actual Hummer, the only renders and the only pictures I ever see of this Silverado EV is in blue.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Yes. GM has a problem with getting off of one color, apparently.
When you're
So,
that big of a leader, you know.
yeah, the Blazers are all red, by the way. The Blazer EV, everyone that they show is red.
So look at this. This is a here's the Ionic 6, yes. I'm telling you, man, that looks like a 90s Altima, but all right.
I think this
Uh,
is one of those ones that might look better in person.
Oh yeah, and again, I drive a minivan. Who am I talking about style? I drive the third sexiest imported minivan. It's
I'm trying to figure out which one you got then. You got Kia Sedona?
oh no, sexier than that. That's fourth.
That's fourth? Okay.
Uh-huh.
So ahead of that, I would say Toyota Sienna,
Uh-huh.
which which, by the way, I think we may have mentioned this, but is only now available in a hybrid model. Does not come in a straight up gas. So number two is the Honda Odyssey,
Correct?
which, by the way, does not even have a hybrid version.
Why would it?
Well, because people think it's a psychological thing. You're
Mm-hmm.
not getting that much more. So I got Toyota, Honda, blank, Kia. So is there a Hyundai minivan?
I have a Nissan Quest Bear.
Oh my God, that's not third.
Okay, how about third sexiest Japanese minivan?
Third sexiest Japanese minivan that is straight ice
Well,
and
there's only three available. Come on, man. You got to give me at least that.
uh, I'll throw you a bone. You're absolutely
So,
right.
so what's the deal here? This GMC Hummer here, I don't recognize it. There's something weird about it.
Well, what's weird about it is that's the SUV version, and this again is I need. You know what? I wish I had a flag every time. Like it would be my bullshit flag. It's a fly swatter, but here is my bullshit flag right now for the GMC Hummer EV SUV. That will they have? How many have they made of these of the pickup style so far?
Oh, hundreds.
Hundreds. Hundreds. Okay, Lucid is kicking their ass on production. Nikola may have produced more trays than the GMC Hummer, uh,
Oh gosh.
which, by the way, this is obviously a render because it only comes in white. Um,
That's what
but,
I was getting at.
and did you see my tweet earlier this week or last
I,
week?
I did not.
Okay, I got an email from GMC saying, your Hummer, the light at the end of the tunnel is near. That's literally what it said. So should I get excited?
It sounds ominous.
Well, it was for my Hummer order. It was the light at the end of the tunnel because your Hummer EV is coming soon. Quarter one, 2025 was written in the email. So,
Guys,
so
what do you.
if they can't, I ordered this last April, and if it's going to April 2022, so it's going to take them 3 years to fill my order for the pickup version. How in the world are they possibly going to get uh, more than a few dozen of these produced this year? This is not coming out this year. And if they put out 25, I still say they didn't put them out. It doesn't count.
That's insane. That's insane.
2000. You
Well,
go back through Twitter, hit the like button for me. But yeah, that was their estimate for something that I've ordered 7 months ago, 8 months ago.
I love this next one. But it's real, and the fully loaded 106,000. If you have to say that, my friend.
And how could it be the edition one when they've already come out with the pickup version? Not really.
And it's
Not
and
really.
it's still clearly a render, and it's
Yes.
back to white.
It is back to white. I do going on the interior picture. I do think that's pretty awesome. Being able to take off all those panels and store them away. I do think it's going to be a cool vehicle. And we're going to talk about a little bit more about how fat it is a little bit later in this awesome episode.
Oh,
Uh,
a real quick notice to everyone watching, because we are simulcasting on both Bears Workshop and My Tesla Live, the second channel of My Tesla Weekend. Hey, smack the like button on whichever channel you're watching, so YouTube knows to actually show this to people, because YouTube really doesn't show it to people. Much appreciated.
and if they did, I could probably. I have a goal to reach 20,000 subs before the end of the year.
Ooh, what are you at?
17,000.
Yeah,
I need
yeah.
3,000 subs in the next 4 days, and I think I can do it. But I'm going to need all 17 of you to subscribe if you haven't.
I'm at 18,194 last I checked.
Yeah,
Painful.
it is.
Polestar. You know what I think would make this Polestar 3 look better? Is if they did the entire fenders in black and called it a Toyota.
Oh, that's horrible.
It
That
is.
is. And I think we have a picture of that coming up later, not on this article, but we have the black fendered Toyota wheel falling off thing showing up on our live stream in a little bit. Um, I like the car. I like my Polestar. I don't love it. The interior needs some serious refinement because it's not user friendly whatsoever.
Hmm.
But I did not order this car starting at $83,900 because I felt like that was too much money for
Hmm.
this. The range is not anything super exciting. I don't remember what it is, but oh, look, they have an interior shot. I'm zooming in on this. I don't think they have any cup holders there.
Oh no. Uh-huh. So what Polestar says to me is that startups can do cars. And I get it. Polestar is Volkswagen, or is Volvo, is Geely. But really, it's a whole new thing, and it works. So there's no excuse for the old guard to not have compelling cars.
I agree. I agree.
Except that they're competing with themselves.
Yeah,
And they're
they
making
are.
less and less money the quicker they transition.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues going on with that, and that's probably a different subject because right now we're here to make fun of the Polestar because that's what's in front of us. So yeah, my biggest complaint right now is I honestly don't see a cup holder. I'm sure there must be one, maybe in that tray on that center console. But if they put the cup holders underneath that armrest, like they did in the Polestar 2, then they really need to call me. Someone from Polestar needs to call me so I can go through their car and tell them where they failed. And I still want to see if this car is a transmission tunnel like the Polestar 2.
Can't see it, huh?
No, you can't see it in this.
No, you really can't. So I gotta tell you, the Equinox, I think it looks all right.
I agree. I
That
agree.
is that is again a render, but
Yes,
I think it's a pretty accurate one. It doesn't look crazy.
that's the Blazer.
Oh, that's the Blazer. That's not the Equinox.
Well, it's red, so it has to be the Blazer.
Oh yeah, you're right. Blazer EV. My
Yeah.
mistake. Of
Remember,
course.
they only come in red.
No, we have all sorts of colors available. Just
Yes.
not just we just keep them very separate.
Yeah. Now the Blazer is coming in at a decent price point. Totally matches up with the Model Y, and the EV6 and the Ioniq 5. It's got a super cool kind of space age dash with the curved glass. I think that's pretty cool. I actually have two Blazers on order, so we'll see when they actually come out. And one of those might be in the future of the channel
And
because
also, yeah, I the prices, I refuse to believe any of them until they're real.
true that.
Until they're delivering more than 10 of them at that price. Cuz like the $39,000 F-150, they sold, I don't know, 100 of them, two, maybe, and now they're $57,000 for the same
Yeah.
truck.
And it and if you've ever seen one of those base pickups, did I ever tell you I saw one of those?
You did mention it, tell me again.
Okay, so if you've ever been in an F-250 or an F-150, that's a work truck, and all the trim is like cheap plastic.
Right.
That's what it was for the base Lightning, and that's what it's supposed to be. It is a work truck. It's got very little options. It does have power windows and things like that, things that go with the electric side of it. But at the same time, it was very cheap, uh, like it's supposed to be, but the price wasn't cheap, which is where it was lacking. And I've been inside of a F-150 Lightning Platinum, which is the other side of the coin, and that thing's decked out like a typical F-150 Platinum. You feel like you're getting all the money, maybe not $105,000 worth, but you feel like you're in a fully loaded vehicle. Where the base one, it is base, base.
So Jeff and I got to Jeff, if you can remember, leave it in the chat. Got to do a test loop around the track in Lightning. I want to say it was the Lariat.
Okay, Larry, it's a good version.
Yeah, and it was very nice. It was very nice. Again, I'm sure it was an $80,000 truck, and I would not be super jazzed to get honestly anything for 80 grand. I think I'd be a little annoyed, but it was nice. It was lightning fast, and it was, I don't know, it was great.
Lightning.
Yeah,
So the Blazer, I think, is going to be like 40 to 60,000, depending on the trim level you pick.
yeah, yeah, and we'll see, and we'll see. And then, of course, we've got the definitely coming this year, Pinky Promise, Super Swear,
Oh,
Cybertruck.
yeah, that's hey, if my moderator's listening, I've got a dog that's humping my wall and needs to be removed. I don't know if anyone can hear that,
Oh,
but
everyone can hear it.
everyone can
I've
hear
got
the
comments
dog.
on my side about feeding the dog.
Yeah. So hopefully my moderator can come grab her
Uh-huh.
because she's in love with my door. So Cybertruck, yes,
Yeah.
uh, I would really like some new information on this, but I just don't think that they know yet. So they don't want to go out and promise like they did with the single motor, dual motor, tri motor, because now we hear that there's a quad motor. I'm hoping that's not like a version of Plaid, and it's going to be $130,000 because I'm not going to be up for that. But I am up for the tri motor at $69,000. You think the price is going to stay there?
Nope. No, I don't. I think it'll bump by 10.
You think my order will stay, or they'll bump my order up higher?
I think everybody's getting bumped.
Yeah,
Because you locked in a place in line, not
I
a
know.
purchase price. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
I know.
yeah.
It clearly said that the price was not locked in. But how do you think that's going to do for Tesla when they say, well, this is really the price?
They've done it before and it's never caused a critical issue.
Yeah,
It's it's obnoxious. I agree. I agree. I agree 100%. But
okay.
look at so the OG Roadster came out, it was supposed to be like 60 to 80,000 and it came out at like 135. When the Model S came out, it was supposed to be what 60,000 and it came out at like 90. And then the Model 3 came out. It was supposed to be 35. And yes, you could get a $35,000 Model 3 off menu for like 2 months.
Hmm.
And now they're $55,000. So while they hit on all their specs, they've never hit on price. And with the Semi out, the two biggest questions are the only two they haven't answered. What's it weigh and what's it cost?
Hmm.
To their credit, that's the same thing that all the other electric semi manufacturers have been doing, is not disclosing the price and not disclosing the weight, because I believe both of them are a moving target. And JJ in the chat did say, how do we feel about the state of California paying 70% of the purchase price of the Nikola Tre fuel cell EV?
I'm okay with California paying for it. I think they're stupid for doing it. But
It's
I don't live in California. It's not
right.
my
And
tax money.
and I if they're offering an incentive, take the incentive, man. Yeah.
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 Deep said ugliest vehicle known to mankind regarding the Cybertruck, and then he
Okay.
says, "What's it cost to replace the battery?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you replacing the battery? And beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And there's a lot uglier cars out there than the Cybertruck. Nissan Quest. I don't.
Now, Nissan Quest is just boring,
Yeah,
but
it is just
but
boring.
if you look at like the Nissan Juke, that was terrible, or the
That
Scion XB was pretty awful. But there's
yeah.
some really genuinely ugly vehicles out there.
I think the Chevy Bolt is pretty ugly. I think it's got a especially the smaller one, not the EUV, but
I
just the
yeah,
EV.
I
It's
think the
got
yeah,
it's
I
got
think the
horrible
first
looks.
gen Leaf was breathtakingly ugly. But I still would have bought one if it had a 6 seat, if it could hold 6 people, but
Yeah.
it couldn't.
I wonder if Deeps would rather drive a Pontiac Aztec or a Cybertruck.
In
And
my comments, William just mentioned the Aztec.
yeah,
So
that is
yeah.
one of the ugliest vehicles out there.
So on the question of what does it cost to replace the battery, that's a great question. Under warranty, it costs nothing to replace the battery. Bear, what is the warranty in California? Do you know what the minimum
I
legal?
I know what the federal
What's the
minimum
federal
is.
one?
It's 8 years and 100,000 miles for
Yeah.
any EV battery. 8 years,
Okay.
100,000 miles. So that goes back to my question of why are
Why?
you why are you
If
replacing the battery?
if your battery dies during those 8 years and 100,000 miles, congratulations, you basically just got a whole new car. And if it dies after that, that's it's the drivetrain. It's think of it as the motor or transmission. If you've got an 8-year-old car with over 100,000 miles on it and the engine or transmission goes out, chuck it. You're done. You're not replacing a motor in a car with over 100,000 miles. And on average, batteries last longer than internal combustion engine drivetrains. So, back to Bear's point, why are you replacing the battery? You probably wouldn't. And the failure on these, on batteries, isn't typically catastrophic where the whole thing goes down. It's more like you lose range.
Yeah, you have a section that might go bad. Hey, we've got people throwing out their ugliest cars right now. So we got PT Cruiser, we got Aztec. So I'm going with Cybertruck's not ugly, but I want to hear on both sides, your stream and my stream, the ugliest cars that you can think of, and it can't be something obscure. But
Yeah,
I want to
I
hear
would
it.
like to. There's a car, I think it's an electric car in Europe that has this really crazy look where the windshield goes down and then it's got like just a shelf with with lights on it. It's just VW thing, says Kevin.
Oh no,
That
those
was
are cool. Those are
They are
utility
cool.
vehicle.
This
Yeah,
but it's the same thing. They're cool, but they're definitely ugly. You
I
know?
think when you name something a thing,
You
the,
know, you know.
yeah, because it's kind of like, well, what is that thing? That's kind of the point.
On your side, Thor said the Pacer.
Oh, my mom had one of those. I was like a 6 or 7 year old boy getting into a brown pacer and riding in the back of that fishbowl, and I lived.
Do we want to? Are we done with this? Oh, article.
No, isn't there more?
Uh, well, we're down to
There's the
repeating the truck stuff.
well, we actually didn't
Oh,
get to the article. We just looked at the picture.
oh yeah, Fisker. They
Oh,
plan to release their first cars to U.S. streets early next year.
oh, oh.
Fisker, I barely know her.
Okay, so the Fister people, supposedly they're already producing some of these cars. I think we had a conversation in my last live stream. Was it Fisker? They were saying that they were actually making cars. They make the Ocean, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So their production. One of these guys in the comments was saying that their production goal for this quarter, for this, which is this going to be this year, was 300 to 500, which is what Nicola's original goal was.
Ambitious.
Ambitious, which I chuckled at that. But they are going to go from 300 to 500 in this quarter. Get this for next year. Are you ready?
Uh,
You got a drum roll?
wait. 4,000.
You are so close. Just add a zero.
That's okay. So first of all, that's not going to happen. I'll take the under.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I started having a bunch of Fisker fans on my last live stream, and they're talking about how another company is making the Fiskers, Magna, and they've got production experience. They've built EVs before, but I still think that there's other things that are important that are going to slow this down, and there's no way they're going to scale up to 40,000.
Zero
They have
chance. Zero
they have to
chance.
develop a supply chain that can bring in the supplies for 40,000 vehicles, 40,000 batteries, 160,000 tires, 40,000 windshields, and four times
I
160,000
have
side windows. I can keep going on.
I have no doubt that Magna can source all those parts. What I doubt more is that they could get them to go together every time. And what I can tell you without exception is there is no factory. They don't have a factory. Oh, well, Magna will build it. Right. Magna doesn't have the factory. You think Magna just has an empty factory sitting around?
They must have something if they're going to do 40,000 next year. Let me Google that.
Rest assured, my friend, they shall not. Yeah, John points out Henrik Fisker is not going to sleep in the factory. Well, it's a real thing though. If yeah.
So I got an article from September that says Fisker's production partner Magnar Steyr has produced 95 prototypes of the Fisker Ocean. Prototypes don't count, but you got to have them anyway.
95.
So they must be making them somewhere. You know, another problem with Fisker that I have is that they want $5,000 deposit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a red flag.
Yeah, it's like you want all my money up front.
Yeah. Yeah.
It seems cool. Seems cool. Yeah. So Business Insider, I want to give you the flag for creating an article and putting Fisker on this because there's a lot of other cars that could be coming out that are actually coming out that would are going to gather a lot more attention than this Fisker. Just saying. I mean, the Ioniq 6 is on this list, and I think that car will do well. I really do.
Well,
People know the name of Hyundai.
so we are halfway through our time, and we are on our third article. So we might want to speed up at this point.
We're killing it because we didn't know how we were going to stretch this out. Go to the last one.
The Indy EV.
Yeah.
I feel like Jeff and I might have seen this one at San Diego. We saw something from India.
Is it really from India and they just forgot the A, or is that what they call India in
Well, that's
India?
the brand. That's just the brand name.
Yeah, I know. Is it from India?
If it's the one I'm thinking of, then yes. But
okay.
India
Is
has
not much information here.
No. India has a quite large, quite mature automotive manufacturing base. So, yeah, I don't know. We shall see.
Okay. Well, it's time to move on, but I've got no money on Indy.
Oh, yeah, zero money on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So it is time.
Knows?
Definitely time to move on because we have so many articles.
Well, we do now. Now we have too many.
Yeah. How'd that happen? So Chinese EV maker NIO cuts delivery guidance for fourth quarter, citing the COVID disruptions. They are expected to deliver 39,000 vehicles after projecting 43 to 48,000. And COVID's always going to be there for people to go, "Yep, it was COVID's fault." So I use that all the time when I don't do stuff for my wife and she gets mad at me. I said, "Well, COVID."
Oh, I blame gluten.
Gluten?
Why not? My wife doesn't know what it is. So, I mean, who does, really? I just know it's a stand-in for all the things I don't like.
All right.
So they're only missing by 10 to 20%.
Yeah.
And the supply chain is disrupted. I don't know if you've seen some of the videos coming out in the last week about how the end to their zero tolerance policy has worked, but it is terrifying. I'm not scared because what they have is not going to jump the pond like it did last time. We've already burned through it. We've already flattened our curve and watched our people get sick slowly rather than all at once. And our vaccines are substantially more effective. So,
All right.
they're going to struggle. NIO's going to struggle. But if what you're suggesting is that maybe part of the struggle is that no one wants their cars, I think that's plausible as well.
All right. Well, moving on to a really popular topic amongst EV haters is fire.
Fire.
Because how we know that Teslas explode.
Of
We know that
course.
they catch on fire randomly,
Instantly. Who
and
knows?
there's probably thousands of fires every single day with millions of people dying. And because of COVID, they're catching on fire, of course.
Right?
And here's a awesome article from Business Insider
So full
about,
of facts and
yes, in relevancy, a Tesla driver watched in horror as another Tesla burst into flames after hitting a barrier.
so this accident is vastly worse than they're making it out to be. Look at the rear wheel.
That's
It's that suspension is fried.
Yes.
What actually happened to this vehicle before it hit the barrier? Because hitting the barricade is not going to buckle your suspension in the back.
They could have gone up and over it and maybe dragged along the battery, piercing the battery.
Oh, you
That's
know what?
possible.
Are these skid marks I'm seeing?
I don't know. I have my pants on.
Oh, oof,
How could you see that?
wow. So these stories are blown out of proportion, but Business Insider or Binsider likes to publish them because they get a lot of clicks from the incredibly passionate dipshits. So they, yeah, it's insanity. But the interesting thing is, electric vehicles, even the Chevy Bolt, are the least likely to combust. What kind of vehicle, Bear, is the
Oh,
most likely?
oh, I will tell you. Well, not most likely, but very likely. But before we get to that, real quick,
Yeah,
I scrolled down on this article, and this
yeah.
article continues on with the driver of the Tesla that did not catch on fire. Just talk about how bad the car was and how he didn't like it, and the fit and finish was miserable. So this is a true hate piece that was just put out there. So, but let's talk about reality. Since we're talking about fires, I happen to own a Bronco Sport, Bronco
Actually, I got to
Trainee.
stop you. I got to stop you. This guy says he's done 6,000 miles in the first 4 months. That's 1,500 miles. That's 18,000 miles a year. And you hate it? Brother, my friend, you joke. You tug my pud chain. Bullshit is what I'm saying there. I'm gonna have to raise my hand on that one.
Yeah,
It's
you got one
ridiculous.
too. You got one. Okay,
Yeah,
this
it's a
article
bad
actually gets even
tractor.
worse. This continues to get worse. Vehicles using Tesla Autopilot software were involved in 273 crashes over roughly the last year, according to a report released earlier this year by U.S. road safety regulators. Completely out of context, because I could be driving on autopilot and somebody can T-bone me. Is that relevant to the 273? Is it
Not
counted?
relevant, but it counts. It
But it
absolutely
counts.
counts.
It counts. So if somebody hits you while you're in autopilot, it's going to count. But that doesn't. If you think Teslas are on autopilot 25% of the time, that just means that the cars would have been involved in 1,000 accidents over a year. Well, okay, that's not bad because there's hundreds of accidents thousands of accidents every day across the country. So I'd like to know the same stat for, let's say, a Bronco Sport on Blue Cruise.
So what is it
'Cause-
with the Bronco?
Okay, so I own a Bronco Sport. It's a 2022 Ford Bronco Sport, as I like to call it, trainee, because it's not really a Bronco. It's it's more like something smaller. And besides sharing the name of the cool Bronco, it's a trainee. So there was a recall put out on this about a month ago due to the fuel injector may crack. And when the fuel injector cracks, it will leak gasoline, that flammable liquid that propels the car, part of the internal combustion, which what is combusting, will actually leak out of the fuel injector. It will sit on the intake manifold, and the intake manifold is hot, like they should be, like because that's what they do. And then the heat will then cause the gasoline that is sitting there to combust, to light, and from there your Bronco Sport will promptly burn to the ground. So there's been a half a million of vehicles. It was the Ford Escape and the Ford Bronco trainee. 500,000, and 20 of these have caught fire. These are all 2020s to 2023. 20 fires. I'm not sure that there's been more than 20 Tesla fires in the last 500,000 cars.
Well, and
Batter,
these 20 fires are due to this one cause. That's not
yes,
all fires. That's fires caused by this
but
defect.
you're absolutely right. And it's 518,993 cars. I own one of them. It is a Turo car, and because it has a safety recall on it, Turo has delisted this car. So this car has been sitting in my yard for a month now. Occasionally we take it out and if we don't have another car available, but I'm paying payments on this. I can't do anything with this. I could also sell it at a loss, but that's my own problem because I didn't put enough money down. That's not relevant. But I have to hold on to the car. What's the fix for this? They're gonna do something with the fuel injector, and then in case it does crack, they're putting a little drain pan underneath it so that if any fuel does come out, it will then leak somewhere safe. Uh, what is that is the fix, but when is this fix going to be announced? Sometime in quarter one of this year. So this car, and I was told by Ford by the end of quarter one, we'll have a fix for this. And then you have to bring it in and get it fixed. So this car is delisted probably for about 4 months because it's going to catch on fire.
Well, Jeff actually had a suggestion for you that would actually just use it, just do the insurance claim on it. All you have to do is burn it yourself.
I know. I was thinking the more we use it, the better the chance the injector might break. Uh, my insurance. I mean, I don't want to say I'm going to do that because this is
No,
like
no, no,
a
of course.
recording of
Well,
it.
no,
But
and yeah.
but I would hope that Ford is actually reimbursing the 20 people who lost their cars and not the personal insurance because that would be really not cool.
Yeah, very not cool. So, by the way, the answer to the question, which vehicle have the highest likelihood of burning? The answer is hybrids. They're 3 times more likely to combust than the internal combustion engines. And
Yeah,
Chris said, as a fireman, we call it a carbecue.
that's what I've heard them called. Like they're doing the traffic on the radio. There's a car you going down on the 405.
I had
So
not heard that.
you've never heard that? Oh, I've heard
No,
that before.
no,
Yes.
no. But, yeah. So, the big thing is, what we really need is giant batteries.
Oh, let's talk about giant batteries. Oh,
Can
jeez.
we? Can we?
Yeah. So you got your flag. It's another one of these.
Hmm.
All we could find was FUD for our articles this week, so we apologize to anybody who wanted real news.
Yeah, the bastards never take a week off, you see. Good news always sleeps till noon. That's why when the phone rings in the morning, you gotta go on.
All right, so here's an article of someone telling us what we need for a car and what we don't need for a car, telling us we should be happy with pretty much 30 miles because most trips are not longer than 30 miles. Only fewer than 5% of all trips are longer than 30 miles. So you don't need a great big battery. Throw in a couple of bits of misinformation saying that these large batteries packs, all it does is make you go faster, travel 400 miles, and you're all proud of yourself, and that these large battery packs can bring the vehicle weight to 10,000 pounds.
10,000 pounds, Bear. There's got to be a lot of cars in that range if they're saying 10,000 pounds like it's a real thing. I mean, surely you can name.
Well, let's think of what's the biggest one
What is
out
the
there?
biggest? What is the heaviest? And we're
Who
not
weighs the
counting
most?
semis. We're
Yeah,
talking just regular
yeah,
passenger vehicles. It's got to be the Hummer.
gotta be. Hummer
What's it
is the
weigh?
winner. It weighs 9,063 pounds.
Huh.
So,
That's not 10,000 pounds, Bear. That's
so
short of that weight by half of a Honda Civic.
and that's sounds like maybe somebody's not telling the truth.
Okay, so you're suggesting they might be lying. I'm suggesting they're idiots.
Well, there is also the possibility that they're lazy because they didn't try to look anything up. And they talk about the vehicle's weight is just sitting there. It's not you. It's never going to use. It's only going to use a fraction of its capabilities to go to schools and pick up the kids and run to grocery stores.
So Deeps suggested Rivian, and I just looked it up, 7148 pounds. So only off by 29%. That's a
Yeah,
pretty substantial misunderstanding. And again, they didn't say 10,000, they said over 10,000.
yeah. And by the way, who gives a shit? Did anyone ever walk up to your minivan and go, "Hey, Brian, what's your minivan weigh?"
What's your curb weight, son? No, no one, never. Yeah, pretty crazy, pretty dumb.
So who cares?
Well, if it was 10,000, I could understand the concern.
What's the
It isn't.
concern?
Well, the concern is it's a lot of atoms to be moving. It does wear on the roads. In the event of an accident, you've got a lot of newtons to bring to a stop.
Yeah,
But none of that is true.
but well, saying that it
Well,
was.
the
Do you,
gross vehicle weight rating comes in at 10,660, right? Right? But that
okay,
includes my fat ass and all the things that come with me.
right, right. Um, so did you, as far as weight goes, have you ever been concerned when you see a truck? Oh my God, that thing weighs so much.
Never. Not
Okay,
even a loaded truck.
so then don't worry about if an EV weighs 10,000 pounds, which
No,
it
no.
doesn't.
Which it doesn't. And I meant the concern would be for me as a consumer, not for me as a person sharing the road with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's come on. And the 30-mile thing, come on, man. Yeah.
I've got the plug-in hybrid on the Pacifica, and when you charge it up, it gets 37 miles at 100%, which is cool for making like a single trip like to the airport,
Yeah.
but not back.
Right?
So that doesn't really last long because it just seems to go away real quick. Uh, it's supposed to be a supplement, so there's no way that the majority of people are going to be completely happy with vehicles in that mile range. And they're not saying that they should be, but they're just trying to say that if you got something that goes 30 miles, it's going to handle most trips. The problem with this is this: you've got a guy, he's got a boat. He takes the boat to the lake 4 times a year, right? So 4 times a year, he gets his truck and he tows his boat to the lake. Yay! Now those other times when he takes it to work, his work trip, let's say, is 10 miles away. He does 20 miles a day. Oh, well, an EV would be a perfect fit, right? But he wants to take his boat. What does he do? He doesn't have a. He gets an EV that can't tow because he got low range and it's not enough power. What's he supposed to do with his boat? Sell his boat? Or no, he's not going to be looking at an EV because it doesn't have the range. He can't go the 100 miles to the lake towing a boat. So just because it works 95% of the time for 95% of the trips doesn't mean that someone's going to go buy it because it lacks in one specific thing that they need. They need to tow their boat.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. So, speaking of bat trays, congrats
yeah.
to the 4680 cell team on achieving 868,000 cells built in 7 days, equal to 1,000 cars.
Now, one of the, to segue off of our last article, 4680s compared to the 2170s that they were previously, it was 2170s, right? The 2170s
Yes.
going to 4680s. How many 2170 batteries do you know approximately were in a Model Y before the 4680 pack was made?
Well, I looked it up. I want to say
It's like
5,000.
yeah,
Yeah,
4
3
or
to
5,000.
5,000.
And
Yeah.
the weight is substantially higher than a 4680 pack, isn't it?
I think it's actually closer to comparable than you think.
Okay.
The real benefit is
But
simplicity of doing 1,000 cells instead of 4,000, 5,000 cells.
yes. And isn't there something like 860? Isn't it like 868 or something?
Something like that.
It's
Yeah.
just like the 868,000. I think it's like 868 that they need per car, equal to 1,000 cars.
Yeah, it's right around there.
Yeah.
So this is good news. To me, though, this is concerning. This is a run rate we thought we would have a year ago. And because they've got two photos here, this tells me that this is the combined total between Texas and Cato Road. And that's an amount of cells that we expected from just one of those facilities at least 6 months ago. But getting them ramped, great. Good news, I suppose.
Do you know
Keep it
off the top of
going.
your head what the production rate is at Giga Texas right now for the Model Ys?
No,
But
it is in excess of 1,000. Is
a
my
week? A week?
is my take? Isn't it? Didn't they hit 3,000 for the
I
week
remember
recently?
3,000 coming up. Was it 3,000 a week or
I know
it
there was
was a
3,000
month?
for Berlin. Somebody in the comments can tell us, because
Yeah, somebody
yeah,
will.
somebody will. Somebody will. But every one of these helps. We need more. I know. We Jeff and I have it on very good authority that they will be adding a 4680 line in Giga Nevada, and that's what the expansion in the elbow of Giga Nevada is. So that's very exciting. Yeah, a Model X, Jeff is pointing out, has 8,500 of the 18650s. Yeah. So, and the 2170s are more like C cells, and the 4680s are more like D cells. Yeah, Digital Blade Canada confirms about 3,000 a week.
Okay.
So, that's not so a third of them can be 4680 vehicles. You know that this is not in. It's very exciting. This is not the ramp that they were expecting.
No, I wonder any idea what the issues may be?
Battery production is extremely difficult and not yet among their core competencies.
I could I could see that. I could see
And the
that.
4680 uses a handful of new things, like the tabless design, and they're trying to make. They've got a dry electrode that they're trying to use. The cathode's still wet, but it's got a few new things going on. So
Well, to me, it's like if you can get production up to 868,000 in a week, it seems like they know how to do it. Is it the lack of the automated machines? Are they still waiting for them to be built?
I don't know.
Brian, you better find out.
Well, I have theories on all of it, and my theory is that so the machines the yield is high enough. They haven't been able to crank them up to 11 yet, but the yield they were able to get dialed in. I thought 6 months ago, because there was a leaked image that showed the diagnostic dashboard for the production equipment. So who knows, man? Who knows? Who knows? And what I know are mostly secrets that I keep very close to the sleeve.
We'll have to chat later.
Uh-huh.
I'll offer you something. All right. Well,
Oh,
we got to get
dear.
moving. Somehow we fell behind because
Uh-huh.
you're so yappy.
I know.
Uh,
I know. Me, that was your dog. Estimated Tesla order backlog decreased to just 163,000 as of December 8th. Good news or bad news, Bear? What do you think?
Oh, I'm mixed. Yeah, I like to see the demand up, of course, as I'm sure everybody would. But when this demand level goes down, it also means you'll get your car quicker and you don't have to wait a year. But it also means that they could end up lowering prices because prices were raised this year. I don't remember off the top of my head, but was it $5,000 over the
Well,
last year?
there were I want to say two price raises.
I know on the Model S there was two, and I just happened to get lucky and nail because I ordered it right before the two price increases of $5,000 each, which, yay me, I got lucky. But the Model Y had price increases on, I think, every version. The Model 3 did, probably the X. Why wouldn't it? Um, just nobody follows the X.
Ah, ah. So this is saying that the backlog in China has somewhat evaporated. Uh, Maybe that's true. China is having its own problems. But remember, the whole point of having all these factories is to increase production to a point where it better matches demand.
Yes.
Having a 6 month, 8 month backlog is not healthy. And I know a lot of people are still considering Troy the gold standard. He's got some very interesting information. I've never had an adequate chance to really talk to him. I offered to share with him some of my secret sauce, and he politely but firmly declined. So,
Other thing about this is, while the wait times are going to go down, I believe that there is a select group of people that will not buy a car that they have to wait 8 months for. There are people that are going to go, all right, I can wait a couple weeks, or I can buy something out of inventory, because even the inventory has been real sparse. So I think there's more people that will actually step up and buy a Tesla because they don't have to wait 6 to 8 months.
and the whole point of doubling the number of factories making these cars was to reduce the wait time, was to reduce the order backlog. So as long as deliveries continue to grow, we're heading in the right direction, which is
Yes.
great. And
Yeah.
I'm confident Troy will do well this quarter on his production and delivery guidelines, because if he doesn't, ooh, I mean, that'd be so. He'll do good.
All right. And hopefully he'll have some good production numbers coming up on the Tesla Cybertruck.
Yeah,
I'd
the
like,
equipment, we've been seeing it arrive. The robots, the gigapress, all of it is showing up and being installed. And yeah, the Cybertruck production does still appear to be on pace for the middle of the year. The big thing to me is, once you build the truck, you have to validate it. And so we're going to see Cybertrucks out in real world testing. We saw the Model Y out for months and months. So they've got to get the line built before they can start doing that. So, you know.
my fear of the Cybertruck is that when it first comes out and they start making deliveries, there's going to be some shit wrong with it. And it's expected. And but those first couple people, there's going to be people going, I don't know what happened here. And there's
And
just
what do you mean? Like for example, loose arm? What do you mean?
possibly could be anything from fitment issues on the interior to the exterior fitment also. Just because putting this thing together is such a new process and it's such a new thing that I really hope that the Q&A guys for Tesla on the line really are strict and really take a look at everything and go, we can't send it out like this, instead of just going, we got to get it going. At least they won't have paint to worry about. Um, the paint's going to look great on them every single time.
And I'm, yes, and I'm confident they have enough cash on hand, enough sales of other models that they don't need to rush this. So hopefully you're right, and that's what they do is get real strict with it.
Hmm.
So we'll see. We'll see. It's gonna be fun.
Because I'm telling you, the mainstream media is going to flame them up if they start sending out trucks that look like poo poo sticks.
They're gonna flame them up either way, but let's not give them any ammunition.
Right, right.
So this is very exciting. Can I share with you an amazing headline? Canada moves to mandate electric vehicle sales starting in 2026.
But
But, oh, well, I mean, 1/5 of them, and it's only a proposal.
Clickbait.
Click, bait. And the problem is, and Bear and I talked about this before the show started, it's difficult with the low density of population to have enough charging, and the cold weather impacts range. So while EVs are not a dead on arrival kind of prospect in the great white north, there are still very real challenges.
And that is such a short timeline. There's a chance that that might happen before I get my Hummer.
Oh my gosh. You know what? Yes.
It's
Yes.
really close. So th- that's a lot of work to do. I'm not even sure how they mandate things like that. Like, you go into a car dealership and they're like, I got to sell these 4 cars before I can sell that EV to you because we're at our limit. I mean, is there a penalty if you go over?
No. Why would there? No, no. No, no. It'd be a minimum, of course. It'd be a minimum. Uh, yeah.
I definitely just see it being difficult to get to 1/5, unless, of course, you're including plug-in hybrids.
Oh, they probably are. All I know is 1/5 sounds like a lot, but it's easier than, because for example, I'm Irish, and wherever you find 4 Irishmen, you'll always find a fifth.
Nice, nice.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I want to know how they enforce it because I know Canada likes to enforce things with their government lately.
Canada. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
since we're talking about all things that suck, we're over somehow. So let's go to the last article
Might
that I
as
think
well.
we've
Might as
already
well.
talked about. You talk about him because I know we talked about him
Well,
last week.
we talked about this last week. There was a survey of auto executives saying, "Do you think how strong do you think the EV transition is?" And the results were weaker than in the past. To which Akio Toyoda, the grandson of the founder of the Toyota company, because as
Sounds
we
like you'd
know,
be qualified.
competency is genetically transmitted, says, yeah, that was me. That was me. I speak for the silent majority, he says out loud, and is saying, yeah, we are not super jazzed about it. So,
Yeah.
and
Well,
and I'll tell you, if those were my vehicles, I wouldn't be very excited either.
yeah. So I'm looking at them, the silver and black one and the white and black one. So nothing says a good looking car better than a completely black plastic fender
If you just made it in
mixed into
black,
it.
no one would notice that it's.
Ugly. I think the cars actually would be all right if
I think they would.
but it's such a horrible distraction. And it looks like even the charging cover is melded into that fender flare. So, congratulations. At least in the picture, they have all their tires on. That's impressive.
It is. It is, by the way, preferred. That is the way it's supposed to be. It's not. I mean, we aspire to it, but
That recall was actually worse than the Bronco recall because Ford said you could keep driving these and risk is extremely low. It didn't say anything about not parking them inside, nothing like that. But this was actually their recall was no, 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 stop driving it now. Don't
yeah,
drive this car. You might
yeah.
kill somebody or
Well, yeah,
yourself.
yeah. Very, very silly. I do want to thank my patrons as always, who get all the good stuff, early access, bonus content, a little bit of dialogue with me that you might not otherwise get, because with 90 minutes of live stuff per week minimum, I'm so inaccessible.
You sound like an adolescent.
Do I?
Yeah, I'm so busy. I just
So
can't do
busy.
anything.
So I'm so busy. Do you think YouTube is going to watch itself? I do, because you leave it running when you leave the house.
Eh, Yeah, good point. Good point. It can watch itself. So
Hmm.
I want to thank my patrons. I want to thank all 30 of my viewers. Slow week. Everyone's on vacation, forgot to turn on their notifications. But I do want to thank everyone who is here because I love you all. I love you all. And thanks for watching us go through this horrible week of news where we couldn't find anything to talk about, but still managed to drag it over.
Was pretty quiet. Was pretty quiet. Yeah. Yeah. So thanks everybody, and yeah, if you're catching this on the replay, what are you doing? Leave a comment. Let us know. Thumb it up.
Yeah. Thumbs up or get out. All right, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks. We'll see you next
Thanks.
time.
Yeah, and thank you for your time, Bear.
Oh, you have all the time of mine that you can ever have. You're welcome. I don't know what that means. Bye, everyone.